your host, serial entrepreneur and small business advocate. And today's conversation is really centered around the health and wellness of us as entrepreneurs and the business community. So thank you for joining us today, Dr. Hugh Jenkins. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate you allowing me to be here.
Thank you. So Dr. Jenkins is a naturopathic and chiropractic doctor. And for those of us who aren't as familiar with your great works, will you share a little bit about yourself and your practice?
Well, I've been in the practice for almost 40 years. One of my specialties is fasting and prayer and cleansing detoxification.
Oh, but you're renowned. I know that you're developing and putting some of your works into written form for us to be able to take. But today's conversation, I think, will be a very wonderful entree into, what your works are. Wait, so let's rewind a little bit because normally the way that I like to start a show is if the guest can give me one word that they would use to describe now, right? Where we are in the world today. What word would you use?
Faith.
Faith. Okay. Can you say a little more? Why faith?
The reason for faith, because we're getting so much fear from the media about this COVID issue.
Mm-hmm.
And so that fear is getting into people's mind and it's weakening their immune system. Their energy is going down.
Okay.
And when you say faith and love and peace and beauty, that raises your vibration, which raises your energy level, which raises your immune system.
Okay.
So you can have two people that one has fear and one has faith, and the one with the fear will be at a higher risk for COVID than the other one, even if they're in the same environment.
Wow. Okay. So let's start this conversation then. So one of the things that you and I talked about, and this I think really resonates with me as being an early riser. I'm part of the 5 a.m. club, is that you have this practice called the hour of power. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, the hour of power, if for those folks that want to get to the next level of mind, body, spirit, and emotions, prosperity, physical, financial, whatever, I've learned that first hour that you wake up, and you might have to wake up an hour earlier,
Okay.
is for yourself. And
Okay.
it says it in the Bible, do for self. And also when you get on the plane, they say do it for yourself first. And you can break it up in 3 different categories. One for meditation or prayer, another one for exercising, and another one for reading. Because
Okay.
the more that you read, they say if you read a book, let's say a book a year, a book a month, I think,
Yes.
you will be in the top 1% of your profession.
Wow. So that's more than 10,000 hours, I think. But so with regards to health, since you're talking about this, faith usually has a little bit to do with mindset and your belief system. And so
Yes,
one of the components of your wonderful fasting regimen is prayer, right? So
right.
can you talk about the association of prayer with fasting?
Well, the thing about it is that, that and throughout the Bible, they always talk about prayer. If you want, better health, better wealth, better relationship, pray to God for that. Okay. Now, the thing about it is in the Bible, they also have a lot of things in reference to fasting. And they don't say in the Bible, if you fast, they say when you fast.
Okay.
Okay. And
Yes.
the disciples tried to get this demon out of this child, and they could not do it just by praying.
Mm.
And Jesus said it has to be done by fasting and praying.
Okay.
Okay, God's perfect therapies that always work and they always heal. But if you break them up and wonder why you're not getting optimum health and wellness, mind, body, spirit, and emotions, because you didn't put the therapy together.
Together. I love that. So then let's talk about that. So we have the prayer component, we've incorporated that into the regimen, but there's also a regimen to actual fasting, from what I understand in our discussions. Yes? Can you break that down for us? So the first part of fasting, what does that encompass?
The first part of fasting is that you have the desire, the faith to do that. Okay. And there's so many different types of fast, from the intermittent fast, which is 12 to 18 hours, and some of them are even 23 hours with 1 hour of eating, all the way up to the 40-day fast.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and so the three important parts of the fasting is that one, there's a pre-fast. The pre-fast is that you need to go start a cleansing and detoxification program to
Okay.
start that process. And a lot of folks will say, well, I'll go on a 1 day cleanse, a 5 day cleanse, this and the other. But to get down to the cell level, it takes 90 days because disease starts at the cell and cleansing has to end at the cell. So you can cleanse and fast at the same time. And it depends on what you're going to fast off of. There's the Daniel's fast where people are eliminating toxic foods, white flour, white sugar, red meats, alcohol, things like that.
Yes.
Then there is the water only fast, where you're just drinking water, distilled water. What I learned from Dr. Fulton, who was the world's authority in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and also in the 80s on fasting. She would put people on distilled water, lemon, and honey. Now there's clinics. There's one in California, and there's also one in Germany that have been around. The one in California since the 80s, the one in Germany for over 100 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
And that's
So
what.
fasting is nothing that's new. They've
No.
been doing it for centuries, and all cultures do fasting. But the most important part of the fast is the break fast.
Okay. Now, is that where we at in the process? So we have the pre, where we actually do the detoxification and the cleansing portion, and then the fast, depending on which type of fasting, whether it's intermittent or the honey and water or the still water. So then what's the break fast? Is that's the end of the process then, it sounds like.
That's the end of the process. Our first meal is called break fast
Mm,
because we fasted when we slept.
hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And it should be a minimum 8 to 7 to 9 hours.
Okay.
So, and then there's also, when we're going more into lifestyle changes, that your last meal should be no later than 6 or 7 o'clock.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then go to bed no later than 10 o'clock so that you get 3 to 4 hours of that digestive system to do some work.
I see. Okay, so
You
wait,
know?
because now you're sounding like I'm doing it all wrong. I need to start completely over. All right. So, um, faith centered. I can definitely check that box. I tell you, I would
Mhm.
not be here today if it was not for that one thing. And I know there are people in my family that also assist in some of that prayer
Oh,
and
yeah. Oh,
faith
yeah.
for me. So that box will check. Now, the detoxification, is that a natural process? Is that something we're doing with the aid of any sort of herbs or vitamins or anything like that? Or is that a liquid natural remedy type process as well?
There's many different types of cleansing,
Okay.
a cleansing detoxification. But yes, you have to put something in your mouth, solid or liquid, to clean out the stuff that the toxins that you put in, solid or liquid, the average American diet. Okay, because 85% of cancer comes from the average American diet. So you have to clean it out so that the body will function better.
Right.
You know,
Mm.
there are some schools of thought, doctors that say, well, you don't have to do anything, the body will automatically cleanse itself out. But if it's been so much toxins and so many layers of toxins, and it's been weakened by the lack of nutrition and the lack of water, it can't do its function.
I
So
understand.
we have to assist it. So
Oh,
food is your best medicine, but the wrong food is your worst enemy.
I understand. I think I like, and I'll let you share more about it. Your equation, and you gave it a scenario of youth versus age and how our health impacts that. Can you talk a little bit about that equation?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay. In reference to that, is that as you fast,
Hmm.
because you're not eating anything, the digestive system goes to sleep.
Hmm.
So it increases your longevity
Mm,
and decreases your dis-ease
okay.
because you're giving it a rest. That
Okay.
is the digestive system is the most abused system. And so as we're giving it a rest, the energy that's usually routed for digestion is rerouted to other areas of the body. for the brain, for thinking, for up to including, they found out through scientific research that by putting people on a fast, it reduces the risk of Alzheimer's
Really?
and all the other mental, yeah, I would say mental or brain disorders, because it
Right.
doesn't have to be emotional things.
Right.
Okay. And then also, in fact, I did that when I was in med school. I would fast on my days of quizzes, exams, midterms, and finals and board exams. And
Hmm.
the results was better. And then also because you're not putting in all of that for the digestive system to work, then the 70% of the blood that's used for digestion is rerouted to other areas of the body, for the brain, for thinking, for the muscles, for exercising. I did 4-day fast prior to my first marathon and broke it after the marathon.
Got it. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
so
there's a
that's,
whole regimen to this. So if we were looking to get more information, because what I hear you saying is our health, it really is our wealth. And us
yes,
staying healthy as emerging and established entrepreneurs, especially under these not even uncertain times, but I think more arduous, more demanding times that we're under right now, right?
mhm,
We're shifted completely out of autopilot, right? And now
right.
to other regimens and just a shifting, right? We're shifting right now. So where would we go to find more of this information? Do you have a website? Is there a resource that we could use?
Well, I'm in the process of creating a fasting and prayer Facebook community.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'm looking for people that fasted in the past, the present, the future, people who've never fasted in life that want to fast, to join my community so that we can share your testimonies in my book and online
Oh,
to bless the community at large, God's great earth.
okay. Right next to the subscribe button, I will put the link to that Facebook community in the description box below. Thank you for that. And I guess the one last question I have for you. This will be the last. What should every person within the sound of your voice do starting with their next meal or without their next meal? Like, what's the one thing that all of us should be doing?
Well, the one thing that we should be doing that we're deficient in is drinking water,
Uh-huh.
good, pure water. The body's 75% water, and in the fast, we have to drink a lot of water
Mhm.
because we can dehydrate. Maybe in future episodes, I'll talk about specifically air fasting, or they're called dry fasting nowadays. And if I find that anybody is uh, any of their disorders, their dis-ease are related to dehydration, I will tell them do not, under any circumstance, go on a dry fast
I understand.
because you're already dehydrated and you become more dehydrated. It
I
will
understand.
make things worse instead of better.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you for this. I'm already rethinking my next day's routine, starting with the power of hour. I'm actually really the hour of power. I'm really, really excited about that. And then to join your Facebook group. Thank you again for being here today and sharing a wealth of a beginning conversation. So I will accept that
Okay.
invitation for you to come back and share more about the progress, not only of the group, but just the wellness and the wealth of health that we have as a community. So thank
I
you.
would love to come back as much as you would invite me.
Okay,
Yes,
all right, then I'm taking you up on that. Thank you.
okay.